To understand our history, we must first understand what it means to change. Webster's dictionary says that revolution is a fundamental change in the way we think about or see something. It is a change of paradigm. The Second Industrial Revolution took place around the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During this time, three men revolutionized the world through railroads, oil, and steel. These men were Cornelius Vanderbilt, John D. Rockefeller, and Andrew Carnegie. These leaders led the revolution and reformed society. However, their strong business practices caused the government to react. The government had to create many new reforms and laws because of them.
The story begins with transportation and a man named Cornelius Vanderbilt. He was born in New York on May 27, 1794. His family also owned a small farm, and his father worked as a boatman. At the age of 16, he decided he wanted to buy his own boat and start a business. His mother offered him a deal. She said she would loan him $100 to buy the boat, but only if he cleared a very rocky field on their farm for farming. Cornelius started the hard job, but he soon realized he could do it smarter. I'm going to make a deal. He made a deal with other local youths. He got them to help him clear the rocks in exchange for giving them rides on the new boat he was going to buy. He got his boat and kept expanding his company. Later, he sold it all to work for a man named Thomas Gibson. As a ship captain, Vanderbilt was always looking for a way to reform his life to make more money. Eventually, he gained control of the traffic on the Hudson River. He did this by cutting the cost of tickets and offering exquisite luxury on his ships that no one else had. He was so good at this that his competitors actually paid him to move his operation somewhere else. He then moved to the northeastern seaside. He offered the transportation from Long Island to Providence and Boston. By 1846, he was known as the Commodore, which means the president of a ship club, and he was a millionaire. The next year, he created a transportation company with trains running from New York and New Orleans to San Francisco, crossing through Niagara. This was during the gold rush of 1849. There was an enormous demand from people wanting to travel. Once again, his competitors could not keep up. They agreed to pay him $56,000 a month just to stop his business because he was so successful. Vanderbilt explained his philosophy simply. I have always served the public to the best of my ability. Why? Because like every other man, it is to my interest to do so. Vanderbilt then shifted his focus to a new revolution, railroads. He bought so much stock in the New York and Harlem Railroad that he eventually owned it. In the last year he was alive, Vanderbilt ordered the construction of the Grand Central Depot in New York City. The reaction of the Central Depot gave jobs to thousands of people who had been fired during the economic panic of 1873. Not all reactions were good. Vanderbilt was known to be harsh to his workers. He was harsh by cutting their wages and forcing them to work in harsh environments. One of his infamous policies was starving out, which meant he would outlast his opponents. This and started to go on strike, which led to the strike of 1877, starting many other strikes and protests for better working conditions.
John D. Rockefeller was a leader in the oil industry. He lived by a famous motto, I've always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity. At the age of 19, Rockefeller started to invest in an oil refinery. The business drilled for oil and then turned it into kerosene. Rockefeller and a partner named Clark started a refinery. 7 years later, Rockefeller formed the Standard Oil Company. It made up about 10% of all the oil companies in the U.S. In his eyes, the industry was chaotic. There are many refineries that produce kerosene that is very flammable. There are many accounts of the fuel blowing up and injuring people. He wanted to make a standard of oil that is reliable and sold at a low price. He started by building a pipeline into Pennsylvania and Cleveland. This helped him transport the oil. Rockefeller kept expanding his business. His business got so big that it eventually controlled about 93% of all the refineries in the world. This was when he became the first millionaire. But his success came at a cost: his health. Around 1890, all evidence suggests that Rockefeller had many nervous breakdowns. He lost all of his hair, including his eyebrows. He suffered these issues because he was overworked. He became ill and would only eat milk and crackers. He hired a man named Frederick T. Gates to help him. He suggested that Rockefeller should give his money away to charities and schools. 2 weeks later, he was fine. He retired at age 58, but still took part in some management. He didn't announce that he hired someone else to run the company. People started to get mad at him because the new manager was raising prices. Around the time, a journalist named Ida Tarbell started to look into Standard Oil. Her work caused a major government reaction. In 1911, the court found Standard Oil was breaking the law and made the Sherman Antitrust Act. So Standard Oil had to break up. But Rockefeller split his companies into many parts. But they are still under Standard Oil. Many of these companies today are Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, BP, and Marathon Oil. In his later years, Rockefeller focused on reform. Before he died, he created the Rockefeller education system. This system taught kids to be factory workers, but also costed low price. Over his lifetime, he gave away about $58 million to schools, charities, and medical research. He died on May 23, 1937, at 97 years old.
Andrew Carnegie was a very important person during the Industrial Revolution. He helped change how steel was made. Andrew Carnegie was born in Scotland. Later, he and his family moved to the United States. He worked hard and learned new skills as he grew up. Carnegie revolutionized the Industrial Revolution by improving how steel was made. He used the newest technology and machines to make steel way cheaper and faster. He could produce more steel and better steel than ever before. Steel became easier for businesses to buy and use instead of iron, because steel was a lot cheaper. It was used to build railroads, factories, and tall buildings. These buildings helped cities grow and thrive. This allowed people and goods to travel more easily. Carnegie's efficiency in steel helped the United States become a strong industrial nation. Through his investments, he was able to own mines, factories, and transportation systems for his own steel. This helped the company make more money and work efficiency. However, aside from all the greatness, Carnegie's factories still had serious problems. Most workers labored for many hours and only got little pay. This made workers feel angry. They felt they were treated unfairly because of the dangerous work and the low pay. Workers began to react by organizing strikes to demand better treatment. One of the most famous strikes was the Homestead Strike in 1892. Workers wanted safer conditions and fair pay. The strike became violent. Workers and community members used explosives, firearms, and even a cannon to force the Pinkerton agents to surrender. The Pinkertons were hired by the Carnegie Company for protection against the rioters. He donated large amounts of his money to help build libraries, schools, and universities. He believed education could help other people improve their lives so they could be successful.
These three show three major parts of the Industrial Revolution: revolution, reaction, reform. They helped change America's growth, but the conflict within their companies caused problems for workers. In the end, their education systems and donations helped reform many people and communities. Today we ask, were they captains of industry who led us forward, or were they robber barons who took advantage of others? The answer is likely both for many reasons. Their stories show the theme of revolution, reaction, and reform. They revolutionized transportation and industry. Their power caused a reaction from workers and government, leading to strikes and new laws. Finally, they helped reform society by giving away their fortunes.